Dungeons and Dragons. Um, so this first game will be this game number 0 will be Dungeons and Dragons. Um, we have me, the DM, Connor Hannon, or Kona Kuma, depending. The lovely DM. We have our two other players. We have Samby.
Hello.
You're like, hello. And Logan.
Hello.
Yes. So, would you guys? So we will be. This is our episode 0. We'll be using these characters for later episodes, but this episode doesn't really have a lot of stake in the up and coming plot of this campaign and setting. It's kind of a way to get to know the characters and for the characters to get a feel for the game. We are playing Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and we are also using Xanathar's Guide for certain new things because it's just come out. We'll be using the normal Monster Manual, Player's Handbook, Volo's Guide. Well, all in all, would you guys like to begin giving a description of your characters, starting with you, Samby?
Sure. My character's name is Anwi. She's a tiefling rogue working as a urban bounty hunter. She's kind of quiet until you get to know her, but she's kind of a wild child once she gets out of the corner that she's watching from. So how much should I share?
What's your class?
I'm a rogue.
Okay. And have we picked has your subclass come into play yet or not yet?
No, not until 3rd level.
Okay. And so that's Ennui. And what about you, Logan?
I am playing Kine, a 1st level sorcerer. Kind of a quiet guy. Doesn't talk much and tries to keep to himself. And that's about it.
Any particular features about him, like how he looks? What kind of race is he?
He's half elf.
Okay.
Kind of blends in with normal. Just looks like a normal person. Kind of blends in with a crowd. Doesn't stand out very much.
That's interesting. Okay, so let's get started. So, you find yourself. You find yourself waking up, groggy. Room. You seem to be sitting in a chair, tied to it. You know that so with whatever the chair is tied to, it seems to be like it's either a pole or some sort of support pillar in a building, and suspended above, on top of the pole or support pillar, is what looks like a very dim lantern that casts a very light radiance around you, just allowing you to see, very subtly what's out. You can't really gauge. Well, actually, both of you have dark vision, so you can see exactly where you are because both of you have dark vision. Because one's a tiefling.
120 feet for me.
Huh?
120 feet for me.
Okay, and how much dark vision do you have, Samby?
Just 60.
All right, so because you both have dark vision, you can see clearly that you are inside of a small house, a very small house. You are tied back to back with the pole in between you, in chairs. And off to the side, you see a large rocking chair with a very small old woman sitting in it. She, however, has not realized that you can see her. She still thinks that she's hidden in the shadows. And from time to time, the little rocking chair rocks back and forth, creating a little kind of sound. So what do you do?
Does she look like she means ill intent? I mean, we're tied to a chair, so that's my first assumption, but...
her glasses are very large, and they're like the lenses are very thick, so you can't quite tell if her what her eyes look like, but her mouth seems to be closed.
Okay.
So do a insight check or perception.
Insight is a 9.
She seems to just be sitting there quietly. Logan, if you would like to do a insight check or perception, either or.
Uh, 11 for insight.
All right, she's asleep. The reason she's not giving off any like ill intent or emotion is because she's literally asleep. Um, she is she kind of startles herself. She's like, uh, oh, and she claps her hands, and all of the candles in the room kind of flicker on, thus illuminating the room. She's like, "Oh, it seems you're awake. I'm so glad that the bonks on the head you received didn't quite kill you." Yes.
Do I notice that I have any weapons on me, or have those been stripped?
You have, yeah, the just your clothes, your basic clothes are left on you. Most of your attire and personal belongings have been stripped from you.
Anything useful within Tail's reach?
No. Nothing useful.
Well, I guess I'm stuck for now.
How tight are the ropes?
They're tight enough to keep you in place.
Any wiggle room at all? Or is it just...
So the way you're tied is that the rope going around you is also going around Samby. Like it's one rope. So if one person tries to struggle, it will make it harder for the other person to move.
Okay.
Yeah. Like if you tug forward, it'll tug back on Samby, and vice versa, because you're sharing the same rope that's being tied around you.
I'm gonna turn and address the old lady and just kind of... Hi. Why am I tied to a chair?
What? Oh, you see, I need some help with a problem of mine.
So you tied people to chairs?
Oh,
and then...
I didn't tie you to a chair. Franklin down the street said he would help, and he brought you here. Now his methods are a little evasive from time to time, but I mean it worked. So where was I? Oh yes. You see, I have quite of a pest problem, and I was, and Franklin has a problem with small things. He has somewhat of a phobia, and I'm just too frail, and I can't do it myself. And I was wondering if you could help me.
Will I be let go?
Oh, of course. And so I will let you go, and I will. Your belongings are in that chest over there. And she points to one of the far walls of the room with a large chest. And you see, it's kind of like it's not locked shut. It's kind of like being held open because it can't close all the way because your stuff is too much for the chest, so it's kind of poking out.
Great. I'm gonna kind of just shrug at the situation and say, all right, I'll help, I guess. I don't really seem to have a choice, do I?
Well, I mean, if you honestly don't want to help a poor old woman with her...
Who kidnaps people?
Who has others kidnap people?
You still facilitated the kidnapping.
Well,
I mean, I'm gonna help you. Let's not argue semantics here. You kidnapped me.
apples to apples, What about you, young lady?
Well, what kind of pests are we dealing with?
Rats. I'm pretty sure it's just rats.
And you couldn't get an exterminator instead of kidnapping
It's
people?
so expensive. Exterminators are just so much money, and I don't know.
You know the fines for kidnapping people are pretty high too.
Well, I mean, I wasn't actually behind this kidnapping set. I merely asked Franklin to see if he could, aid me in procuring some help. I was unaware that he was physically going to kidnap you.
I don't
Yeah.
quite believe you, but I'm not in the situation to argue.
Do an insight.
Both of us?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to know her intentions in regards to the kidnapping.
17.
Yeah, so the whole kidnapping, you can tell that she didn't necessarily mean kidnapping, but the way you can tell, you get a feeling that the way the original conversation went is she never actually said kidnapping, but she never said you couldn't kidnap, kind of thing, like do whatever it takes, as she like slides a dollar bill over the table, She's like, for legal reasons, I'm not saying kidnapping, but do what you have to, kind of, you get to feel that's the kind of, transaction that went down.
All for $1? I am more expensive
Well,
than
you don't
that.
know, you don't know the actual amount of money, but you know that you get the feeling that she was vague safety.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. Vague for the sake of vagueness.
Yeah, so that she can't necessarily be held liable for the kidnapping, like, well, I never told him to kidnap. Yes, but you implied it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
Can I be untied now?
Oh, of course. And I assume you'd like a reward and payment. So I'll tell you something. Down in my basement, where the rat problem is.
This isn't the basement?
No, this is the main level.
You need to. Oof.
You need windows.
Yeah, windows.
It's a very.
Maybe some lights.
I have a condition. I don't like seeing the outside, so I boarded my windows. Well, it's not. No, I'm just. When my husband died, and after that hurricane hit, he, never had a chance to take the boards off the windows, and I'm just too frail. But I tell people that I just don't like seeing them anymore. But it's honestly because I'm not strong enough.
Isn't that worse?
Well.
Isn't that actually worse? A lot, like considerably worse, to look at people and not tell them, "Oh, I'm too frail to lift something," to instead say, "Oh, I don't like you."
Well, back to what I was saying. In regards to payment, I don't really go down into my basement anymore. More than I need to. So, tell you what, anything you find down there is yours for the taking. How does that sound?
Well, I could.
Hmm?
I've already agreed to this.
Excellent.
I mean, we're already here, so.
She kind of pops off her little, this old woman is rather tiny. She kind of pops off of her rocking chair and kind of scuttles over to the rope, pulls out this very tiny little knife, and just begins to slowly cut through it.
Please don't let
A
her
good
cut me.
3 minutes go by and the rope breaks. And she's like, all right, so your belongings are over there in the chest. And if you need anything while you're down there, I'll be up here doing, my basic chores. I'll also be making some cookies for when you're done. So, yes, if you'd like, I can show you down to the basement.
I go over and get my supplies first.
Yeah, I do
Okay,
too.
you get all right, so it takes you a good few minutes, but you manage to accumulate all of your belongings and equipment, putting your armor back on. Samby, you're wearing leather armor?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, leather armor doesn't take that long to put on. And you're also wearing leather armor, right, Logan?
I believe it said no armor for sorcerer.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're a sorcerer. So yeah, but you're also Yeah. So yeah, you managed to put on all your equipment, your clothes. Logan, do you have a wand? How do you cast?
I have a spell. I have an arcane focus. Yes.
Okay. What is that focus?
I hadn't quite thought that yet.
All right. Well, we'll just figure that out as we go. So.